Hello everyone, this is Sanjay Shenoy from Team Digital Debug and welcome to this brand new video. In this video, we'll learn how to perform a thorough SEO audit for your website or your client's websites or for that matter, any website. A lot of people have been asking me to do this video and I have intentionally taken a lot of time to do this because I wanted to ensure that all the necessary information is there in this video and all the unnecessary ones are taken out. So whatever the SEO audit process that I'll be going through, you can use it on any website that you want to, and also it involves a lot of important things that you should be doing in an SEO audit, and I've taken out all the unnecessary ones. So let's get right to it and find out how you can perform a thorough SEO audit. So throughout this video, you will see that I will also be parallelly doing all the activities that I'm talking about on a website that we own called bikerboy.in. You might have seen it in other videos and previous examples also. So we'll be doing all the things that we are suggesting here so that parallelly you can also figure out how you can do this for your own website. Before we start with the SEO audit itself, there are a few things that you need to have or have access to. So let's go one by one in terms of what are the prerequisites for an SEO audit. First up is called a tool called Beam Us Up. This is very similar to Screaming Frog. A lot of people might have seen it or at least like heard about it while other people are talking about it. So what this basically does is this tool crawls your entire website and gets all the active URLs from your website. This is a very important tool in doing an SEO audit because that will help you understand how your site is structured and what are the things that you need to do to fix if there are any errors in it. It is a free tool compared to Screaming Frog. It's a free tool, but it's a lot slower and it has lesser features than Screaming Frog, but nevertheless it does the job. Just go to beamusup.com and download the file. Unfortunately, right now this is available only for Windows and it is not available on the Mac. And you can go ahead and give it a try. The second tool that you might want to have access to is Ahrefs or Moz or SEMrush. This is primarily to understand how the backlink profile of a particular website looks like. And all of these tools are paid tools, obviously, but a lot of these, every tool of this is like has a free trial to it, and especially Ahrefs, the free trial you can do most of the things that I've been talking about here, and the same thing applies to Moz and SEMrush. I personally prefer Ahrefs, especially when you're looking into backlinks, primarily because their crawlers are a lot faster and it goes a lot deeper compared to the other two tools. So in essence, it's a way better tool than the other two tools, but if you're using these other two tools for any other reason, then you can just go ahead and do the same thing that I do on Ahrefs. The next tool we'll be needing access to is Copyscape. Unfortunately, this is a paid tool and but you'll be paying only for whatever you'll be using. So that shouldn't be a problem. It'll cost a couple of dollars to run a few quick tests on your website to check if there is any duplicate content on the website. You will also be needing access to Google's PageSpeed Insight tools. This is a free tool and anybody can access this. This will basically tell you how your website is performing in terms of speed and a few other things. Also, along with that, Google Structured Data Testing tool will help you analyze if the structured data or the microdata or schema can be tested on this particular tool and seen if everything is all right. Having access to Google Analytics can be extremely helpful, mainly because you'll get a lot more data and you can look into it. If it is a third-party website which you do not have access to, then this can be a problem. But nevertheless, if it's your own website or your client's website, you can always request access to Google Analytics just to quickly peep into it and see what's happening and what is not happening. This will give you an immense amount of information having access to Google Analytics and also having access to the Google Search Console. Especially the Search Console, it'll help you identify if they have been penalized and how Google is treating your website generally, and collect a lot more information. Again, if this is a third-party website, you can't do this, but mostly if it is your website or your client's website, you can easily you have access to this particular thing. We have in the previous videos taught you how to install all of these things, this analytics and search console, of course. So go back to that particular video if you haven't done it already. If you have, then just having access to it would be great. Okay, let's get started with the SEO audit itself. And the first step that you need to do is to crawl your website, and you need to crawl your website and check for any kind of mistakes from every source possible. The first thing that we'll be doing before we crawl our website is to download the Bemis Hub app and then run a crawl through the app itself. I'll quickly jump into their website and show you how it looks. So this is the website Bemis Hub, and you can see that it is available only for Windows, but it does a great job at it. And considering that I'm using a Mac to record this video, I can't show you how it actually works in real. But what I've done is I've taken a screenshot of the application itself once I've done with the whole crawl, and I'll just quickly run through the tool, and it'll tell you, it'll give you a fair idea of how to use this tool. It's a very simple tool to use and it shouldn't be much of a problem. So this is how the tool looks like, and basically you put in your URL here and then you hit start, and once it's finished, you click on show all URLs found, and it'll show you all the URLs and the status and everything about it, your title and everything. I have exported this, which you can do from right here, into an XLS or Excel format. I will show you how all of this looks like, all the information that you get from Bemis Hub, it looks like, and that should give you a clear idea of what you can do about it. So let me just quickly jump into Google Sheets and show you what I have exported from this. So this is how the data that Bemis Hub has exported into. As you can see, this is the master sheet wherein all the URLs are seen, and you can see the URL here, the title, the meta description, the length of the description, keywords, H1, H2, H3, and the respective lengths for that, and what is the robots.txt talking about. Is it allowing the robots to index it and follow it? So basically this page is not being indexed because it is not exactly a page. This will actually lead us to the comment on that particular page. You can see it here. So this is not really a page. And the robots.txt is doing the right thing by not allowing it to be indexed. And why is this important? Because if you don't do this, or if you find this as an issue, you should immediately block the spiders from indexing a page like this, because this will come up as an issue for duplicate content on your website itself. So once that happens, the performance of your website will start degrading a lot. And also, the amazing tool that Bemis Hub is, it will also show you a lot of other information. It will show you all the pages where the meta description is duplicate. As you can see here, about 32 it says is duplicate, but I'm guessing it's all the comment links. So yeah, most of them are like comment links. So this is not getting indexed anyway, so I'm not worried about a duplicate meta description being here. So this is very important for you to do, because this will show you everything about every single page that is there on your website. And once you have all that information, then you can see what pages have the duplicate description. If it has duplicate description or duplicate title for that matter, do you have to change it? Is it even being indexed by Google? If it's not being indexed by Google, then you don't have to do much. If it's being indexed by Google, you should block the spiders from indexing that particular pages. So it will also tell you all the pages where the H1 is missing, or the H2 is missing for that matter, or if the meta description is too long, and whole lot of other information. So A great tool, a great piece of information. Most importantly, it'll give you the number of URLs that a particular website has, and as you can see it's 46. And if I see here, and if I put a filter here, show me only the blanks, because the rest of the things are no index and no follow, it is showing me about 5 URLs, which is pretty much what we have on the website. So nothing wrong with this. The website is performing almost the way it needed to be performing. So there is no red flags over here, and we can safely proceed to our next step. So you need to do the same thing for your website or your client's website for that matter, and try to identify as many problems as you can on this particular thing. How many pages are there which is actually being indexed, how many pages are not being indexed, and if those pages needs to be indexed or not in the first place, your titles and descriptions and your H1 for all the pages on the website, and if there are any duplicate title, description, conflict that is happening on the website, all of these things. So this is very crucial, and this is how you identify problems on a particular website. This is one way to do it. There are 3 more other ways to supplement or complement this particular thing, so we'll get into it right away. So very crucial step, do it as thoroughly as possible, go through it as much as possible, try to find out as many problems as you can in a particular website, and of course fix it. So in this particular thing, there is nothing which is quite as off, so I'm going to go ahead and go to the next step. So the next step would be to do a site operator search on Google. This is to ensure that Google is actually indexing whatever that you need the search engines to be indexing, and if there are more pages than your pages that needs to be indexed, then there is a problem, you need to go fix it. If there are less pages, there is still a problem in getting all your pages indexed, you need to get it fixed. So let's just quickly jump into Google and do a site operator search and see what Google has to tell me about my website. So as you can see here, I have done a search operator on Google to see what is happening, and the way you need to do a site operator is site : and your website's full URL. So it'll show you all the pages that your particular website, all the pages that has been indexed by Google for your entire website. So right now Google is saying that there are 7 results. I'll quickly skim through all of these results and see if there are any unwanted ones. So there is the home page here, there is the Harley Davidson Street Class special review, Tiger, yes, biker boy motorcycle, why riding motorcycles feels like meditation, and look at this. So this is a URL which looks a little off, so let's find out what it is. So as you can see here, this is a page that I do not want it to be indexed on Google. I don't know, it must be coming from a particular plugin or something like that. This is something that I don't want Google to be indexing, or even worse, my users to be finding this page in any manner whatsoever. So I'm going to either delete it or de-index it using either Search Console or using the robots.txt. But for now, let's just keep it like this. We'll get to it later on. So otherwise it looks fine. So this is exactly the purpose you need to do a site search, site operator search, because it will check the hygiene of all your indexes. So when you do this, you will know all the pages that are indexed and all the pages that are not indexed. So basically, when you compare the number of results Google is showing versus what BeamerSup has showed, it should more or less have the same number of URLs, same number of results. BeamerSup showed me 5, Google is showing me 7, minus the one which is there. So it is pretty much the same. So I'm not too worried about it. But if there are more results here in Google than what BeamerSup has showed you, it means that Google is also indexing a lot of unwanted pages. And you need to figure out all these unwanted pages. This can be category pages, it can be archive pages on your website, it can be the comments that I showed you that time. So all of these things can pop up in your Google, and if you don't control it, it's going to be terrible. So we are doing it. That is exactly what you're trying to figure out using the site operator. So I'm in the search console for Biker Boy, And in Search Console, I have navigated to Google Index and Index Status. So it says that, as it is showed before in the search itself, it says that there are 7 pages that are indexed. And if you go to advanced, you can see a lot more information here in terms of what are the number of pages that are indexed and blocked by robots. And also, if you want, you can see all the removed ones also. So most importantly, what I need to do here is, number one, check all the pages that are being indexed correctly or not. So this number matches with this number, which almost matches with the BeamerSup app. So everything looks fine here, and you can remove URLs from here by clicking on temporarily hide and putting the URL here. So let's just do that right now for this particular URL, which I don't want it to be shown in Google. So I'm just going to go ahead, paste it here, and hit on continue. So you'll be given with 3 options: temporarily hide page from search result and remove from cache, remove page from cache only, temporarily hide directory. So directory is not suggested unless you want to remove an entire folder kind of thing, so not required. So sometimes Google caches or kind of saves the URLs in the search results itself, so you wouldn't want that to also happen. So you click on temporarily hide from search results and remove from cache. So, and click on submit request. This is, like it mentions here, it is only a way to temporarily remove your URLs. And if you want to remove it completely, what you can do is you can either delete it or change your robots.txt file. So I will show you how to do that later on. But for now, this is how you do it using Search Console. Let's quickly jump into Google Analytics and see what do we have in store there. So now you have done a crawl using BeamerSup. You got a number in terms of the number of pages that are there on the website. You did a site operator. We found a page that we do not want to be indexed, and we blocked it using the Search Console. And you also checked the index pages in Search Console also. So these 3 things, what you're doing, or the next step also for that matter, you need to, and what you're trying to do here is very simple. You're trying to ensure that the number of URLs is more or less the same across all of these tools. This will basically tell you how your website is being received by search engines and how they are behaving with your website. So which is extremely important in terms of your indexing hygiene, or the way your SEO, search engine crawlers look at your website, and your site architecture in general. So this is the main objective of crawling your website. There is just one last step in doing this, and which is to check your landing pages in analytics, and again cross-verifying if the number matches with what we have got so far. So let's just quickly jump into Google Analytics and see what we have there. So we are inside Google Analytics, and as you can see, these are the number of sessions that we have. The way I reached here is pretty simple. Once I logged into Google Analytics, I clicked on behavior and landing pages. So here are all the landing pages which is attracting traffic. Again, more or less the same number of articles, same number of URLs is being shown here. But there are a few pages which are being visited by people or the spiders. So let's have a quick look at what this is. So this is the URL that we removed. So there are already 4 people who have visited it. So obviously not necessary, or the spiders themselves might have visited it. So again, not necessary, we have removed it. This is an instant article URL, so it's not a big deal. This is a page we need to look into and see if it is actually a page in itself. So this doesn't look like a page that needs to be existing. So I think I'll have it removed again. Let's see the other one. This is the category page. This can happen a lot if you have a lot of categories, or you're running an e-commerce kind of blog wherein there are a lot of categories, and there are posts below these categories. So there will be a lot of category pages that will be created. You might want to, generally people would love for people to go and check their categories. Sometimes these category pages will throw in a lot of duplicate content issues. So you need to know how carefully you can tread with this particular pages. So let's find out what is happening here. Again, there is literally one post here, and I think it is not necessary for us to make this particular page available to the search engines if it is does not have any information. But since it is not giving me any kind of error or throwing in duplicate content, I'll just let it be here. But ideally what might happen is, if we go on to the future, if we create more and more pages, there will be a lot of conflict in terms of duplicate content on your website, especially because of pages like this. So think about it and take a wise decision in terms of whether you want to de-index those pages or let those pages be. Or you might want to, this is something that we have done in the past. I was working for a travel startup, the same problem was there for us, and we had to manually change the content for every page out there, and we actually did it. So sometimes the best solution is the most tedious solution, but it's well worth it. So that is the end of step 1 in your SEO audit process, and also the end of part 1 of the SEO audit video series. I am trying to make it as in-depth and focused as possible through this series, and we will be seeing you in the next video, which is part 2. Let me know what you think about this video, and if you have any feedback, you can post it in the comment section or just shoot me an email at sanjay@digitaldeepak.com. Thank you very much, and I'll see you in the next one.